Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lions Den with another news and commentary. Donald Trump, your president, is trying to tell the protesters he's going to threaten to send U.S. military on U.S. soil to combat the protesters. I'm going to say what I have to say after this, so I'm going to let you listen to him himself, and I'm going to continue the rest of my commentary.
I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters. But in recent days, our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others. A number of state and local governments have failed to take necessary action to safeguard their residents. Innocent people have been savagely beaten. These are not acts of peaceful protest. These are acts of domestic terror. The destruction of innocent life and the spilling of innocent blood is an offense to humanity and a crime against God. Therefore, the following measures are going into effect immediately. First, we are ending the riots and lawlessness that has spread throughout our country. We will end it now. Today, I have strongly recommended to every governor to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets. Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled. If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them. I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property. We are putting everybody on warning. Our 7 o'clock curfew will be strictly enforced. Those who threaten innocent life and property will be arrested, detained, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I want the organizers of this terror to be on notice that you will face severe criminal penalties and lengthy sentences in jail. This includes Antifa and others who are leading instigators of this violence. One law and order, and that is what it is. One law. We have one beautiful law. And once that is restored and fully restored, we will help you, we will help your business, and we will help your family. I take these actions today with firm resolve and with a true and passionate love for our country. By far, our greatest days lie ahead.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna be very passionate about this because this is really Trump being protective of business owners and properties. Let me start off with this. Do you have law and order? Have you ever seen the military to Charlottesville, Virginia, after the white supremacists want to start a riot over there? No, you haven't. And what about when you decided, and this is what's so interesting about what his speech is, he's going to send U.S. military into every city in America. See, what you're trying to say is that we're going to be scared and afraid of a U.S. military. And my thing is that you never want to say, what about the white supremacist that you backed? while you was running for president. And what about the invasion of the Michigan State Capitol? Have you decided to send National Guards to them? And guess what? The difference is between the protests of George Floyd and the white supremacists who took over the Michigan State Capitol is that the protesters didn't have guns in them. The white supremacist does have weapons. Now, who's a bigger threat? And then, and see, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, is that he want to hide in his bunker when protesters swarm around the White House. That's what Trump is trying to do. He's basically trying to start a war against us by sending U.S. military, because basically he's basically want to hide his bunker when, you know, protesters trying to have their rights. And guess what? You forgot about the Constitution, that we have a right to assemble, and you want to crack that down because people are angry of the death of George Floyd and other people that were brutally murdered by police. But yeah, you want to threaten governors to send National Guards to restore order, and then you threaten the governors and say, well, if I refuse, then I'm going to send my U.S. military and my U.S. military personnel to restore order. But I'm gonna tell you straight up, people, I kept thinking about this, is that he wants to please his own base. He wants to please the white supremacists in the world, or the white nationalists in the world, and you know, he forgot about Charlottesville. That Charlottesville was in near riot mode. Remember that? He also forgot about what the white supremacists did in Michigan when they heavily armed, storming the Michigan State Capitol, demanding reopening the cities in like Detroit and Flint and others. Oh, Trump ignored that. See, and I'm concerned, ladies and gentlemen, that if he goes that route, if he goes there, sending U.S. military, it may turn out, and you know what, people can call me a conspiracy theorist or whatnot. I don't give a damn. It may end up being a civil war. It may happen like that, and the same U.S. military that Donald Trump wants to deploy, I wonder how the black soldiers will feel if they had to go to their own neighborhoods, use their AR-15s and M16s to their own family members, to the people he grew up in. See, that's what Trump doesn't understand. And black soldiers have to choose a side too, because you got black soldiers, Hispanic soldiers. I'm talking about military soldiers. They have to choose a side as well. So it's gonna be very difficult. If you're in the U.S. military, if you're a black soldier, you got to choose either follow the commander in chief, or support your family during this crisis. It's hard, it's tough. But my point of all of this is that my point is this, ladies and gentlemen, is that Donald Trump only cares about Donald Trump, only cares about his billionaire friends, that people that own these buildings. And we don't give a damn if we burn 100 buildings that we not even own in our own community. And so what we're seeing is that Donald Trump is doing what other countries, a third world country, would have done. Going to use their own military to crack down protesters. And the thing of it is, that's a violation of the Constitution. And guess what's going to happen? And if he does go there, it's going to be bad for Trump in his re-election bid. I guarantee you that. It's going to be real bad. And people around the world are already seeing how Trump is and how the protest is. And that's why countries like France, Germany, Australia, Iran, basically Africa, even the AU condemned the United States of killing George Floyd. You see world leaders and people around the world is watching what the United States is doing. And some countries already have travel restrictions coming to the United States now. In some countries, they make decisions and say, well, we're not going to, if you want to go to the United States, you do it with your own risk. In other words, I'm not going to allow citizens to go there if it's danger there. So Trump is really in hot water right now. When you threaten to send U.S. military in American soil and going after the protesters like that, and it's funny that he brings up Antifa. You know, he brings up Antifa for a reason, right? Because he blamed Antifa and George Soros as the reason why we gotta crack these Antifa down. But he ain't gonna tackle his own base. He ain't gonna tackle white nationalists that already do what he did in Charlottesville. What the situation in Michigan, in the Michigan State Capitol, when armed protesters, which is white supremacists, just barge in with automatic weapons. So, who's a bigger threat, ladies and gentlemen? The rioters or the white supremacists with arms that breaking the Michigan State Capitol? You tell me. So it's really funny that, Trump is doing all of this because he wants to be reelected once again. And he wants to basically use Antifa, is a cause of the riots. It is, and you know what? And this again, he's basically focused on cracking down because he don't want to piss his own base off. Because if he does that, that's it for Trump. But the point I'm making, ladies and gentlemen, is that he's threatening. To me, it sounds to me like it's martial law. What he's doing is martial law. If he decided to send U.S. military, it's martial law, and possible we might end up in another civil war. And that's what we might be headed to. And that's the last thing we want right now. Because the people that's been protesting and rioting people are unemployed. They don't have any jobs. Some of them, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they can't even work anywhere. But yet and still, when a man was murdered in front of millions of people watching live and people watching worldwide on YouTube about the murder of George Floyd with a Minneapolis police officer. And then we have a right to protest, and then now you want to crack down using our own military to crack down on the protesters. See, this is really bad, y'all. And what Trump is trying to do, if he continues, he might end up being in martial law and possibly another civil war. So if he wants to go there, it's not going to be looking good for Trump at all in his re-election bid. I'm just being honest. So y'all let me know what you think about this. Like, click, subscribe, and remember to click the notification bell for all the news and commentary. With that being said, this is Lions Den signing off. And all the protesters, keep doing what you're doing and stay safe, guys. Deuces.